Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DYA Network. I'm your host, David Edwards. Now, some of you have heard some of our previous episodes. You're probably used to a different type of introduction. Usually our intro has me presenting the show for the day. And the reason I'm doing it a little bit different is because I found one of our episodes in our archives that actually I recorded this last year. And I wanted to bring it out of the archives because it points out some great things on goal setting. I don't know why I didn't release this, but probably because I wanted to critique it more as I learn to present the shows through the podcast. And the podcast launched the end of last year. This was last summer. But the reason I think it's important for you to listen to this show is because some of the references that I make as far as the athletes, we're looking at a year later how goal setting helped them progress along. So take a listen to this. Now we're up to episode 44. This was one of the first episodes that indicated that I had recorded. I did catch a mistake I made. I mentioned Disneyland in Florida and actually Disney World's in Florida. It's just something that I needed to correct, my own personal thing here. So take a listen to this, and we'll touch base after you listen because I want you to kind of hear what took place with some of these young athletes and how goal setting can help you with your programs as well. So here we go. Every pro was once an amateur, and every expert was once a beginner. Welcome to the DYA Network, where we're on a mission to bring you essential resources and cutting-edge information to help young athletes attain their maximum potential while developing the champion within. I'm your host, David Edwards, and welcome to the network. Hello, everyone, and yes, welcome to the DYA Network. Again, I'm your host, David Edwards, and today's episode will be a special one because it's something that I'm actually in the process of doing right now, and that's goal setting for our team. So everyone knows that we have a summer track program for youth here in the state of Michigan, and summer track kicks off after high school track here for travel teams for AAU track. And actually, technically in June is when some of the track meets that we'll be participating in after the state track meet here. And the youth that we have is from young as 4 years old all the way to 17. But one thing I always like to kick off the season with is goal setting for each and every one of them, because I think a lot of times what happens is a lot of kids, we focus so much on practicing and developing their skills that we don't reinforce it with the foundation that will help them improve, which is setting goals. Setting goals is that piece that actually helps them to know if they're on track or not. And I really wanted to go over this today. So I was looking at how to present this, and I think the best way to present this to you is in a two-part series. So this is episode series 1. That will really touch base on keys for the kids. And these keys, what I mean is there's steps and there's points that I like for them to commit to paper. And that's what we'll be going over today. On the next part 2 of the series, we'll get more deeper into the goal setting process. What is important through all of this is that, remember one thing, committing this to paper. So as I talk, remember, you really want them to commit everything we're doing to paper, and everything that we're going over today will also be on our website, which will be mentioned at the end on how to connect with the website that you can download this information for free. But in the beginning of the season, so we're all on the same page with coaches, what I like to do is, first of all, let's identify the vision, helping the kids reach a vision, which is the end destination. And the goals are actually how they will get there. So the goals are a roadmap. But I really like to have clarity on what is the vision of every child. What is their vision? So coaches will meet. We'll have clarity on the vision of each kid will be the end destination. And the goal is the steps on how we'll get there. A lot of times kids, when we first initially get involved with them, we like to keep it as simple as possible. So I always use the example of if we were traveling from Michigan to Disneyland in Florida. And I always ask the kids this. I said, if we were to go to Disneyland, how many of you, first of all, would like to go? And a lot of times the kids get engaged, especially the younger kids. And this is for as we break them up into chunks and groups. The younger kids, they're raising their hands. They're all excited. That's great. You want to go to Florida, right? We want to go to Disneyland and have fun, see Mickey, Minnie, get on the rides and have fun as a whole. Well, how are we going to get there? A lot of the kids say we'll drive, or they'll raise their hands and they'll say we'll fly. Okay. Still, how are we getting there? We get in the car. What do? Just take off and go? No. And a lot of times now with technology, kids will say, we'll just put it into the GPS, or we'll just put it onto the phone and it'll show us how to get there. And I'll say, exactly. What is the phone doing? The phone is giving you a GPS system, which is a roadmap. Your end destination is Disneyland. That's your vision. But the roadmap to get there is the GPS. The old school method before technology existed, we would get out a map. And that's what the goals are. It's the map to get you to your end destination. So first and foremost, you want to identify what the vision is. And secondly, we develop the roadmap to get them there. Now, in order for us to get to this point, let me back up a little bit. And what we do, we'll have practices for a week. And in that week process, before we even get into what we call our goal setting meeting, we have the practices first without telling the kids anything, because we want to look at where are their strengths and where are their weaknesses. So in order for them to have clarity on some of their visions, they don't know. Some of them may have never ran before. So if they've never ran before, how do they know what they can improve on or what to strive for? So if we give them a week of practice, they can, when we have the meeting, they'll have more clarity on what they can do that is strong or what's weak. For example, in basketball is a good example. A lot of kids are strong dribbling with their dominant hand, but they're weak with dribbling with their hand that they're non-dominant with. So a lot of kids are right side dominant, so they can dribble with their right hand. But if you ask them to dribble with their left, they're having problems, right? So they don't know this until you get them out there on the basketball court. So we use this template first, this format, to the first week, getting more clarity of strengths and weaknesses. Now in week 2, we have the meeting. Now, in the meeting, what we do is we break down what I've called my goal-setting keys, and there's actually 5 keys and 5 points that we point out. Point 1 is the vision that I've already indicated earlier. And we'll literally ask a kid, we'll get them in a circle, and they all have a sheet of paper with this all printed out on it, because they're committing this to paper, and we're there to steer them along. The first question we ask is the goal that they have. What is it that you want to do this season? What is your vision? And we'll explain the vision, just like going to Disneyland that I indicated earlier. And we'll get the vision from kids. They'll raise their hand, and a kid might say, well, I want to be able to run faster than I did last year. Okay, great. Write that down. What is it that you want to run? And coaches will help them along the way. Or some kids will say, I'm not sure. Well, where you practiced last week, where do you see you're strong and where do you see you're weak at? And a lot of times the kids, if they don't know, now we have a baseline, because the coaches are also looking at the kids during practice to find out where they're strong and where they're weak. Now this gets more engagement with the coaches and the actual athletes to help them there and build a relationship with these kids. So as you're finding out what the vision is, now it's getting more clarity as far as coaches understanding and kids and helping them write that down where they might not know. The next step, after we get all of the kids to individually write these things down, we ask them then, why do you want to achieve this goal? Why? Which is very important. It's not me that wants to achieve it, it's you. But why do you want to do this? And then you start bringing things out in them. They might say, I've always wanted to do this, or my brother or my sister broke the school record and I want to break the school record. Okay, you want to break the school record. Now we have things, as we setting goals, we can make them more achievable goals and break it down more. I hope this is making sense to everyone. We're really looking at digging deeper, getting more clarity for some of the athletes on what it is specifically we can help them with. Now, the younger athletes, we want them to have fun. As I've indicated, we have kids that are 4 or 5 years old. They're not going to be as deep into this as the older kids, and it's just to have fun, and we'll work with them too on little things. Well, you know what? Let's work on you in running. Let's work on your arm movement. Did you see how you were running last week? Let's work on getting your arm motion a little bit better, or your knee lift. Or maybe running from this point to the next, and make it fun. You have to get creative with your team and work on that. The next step is you ask the kids, do you believe you can do it? Do you believe that you can achieve this vision, this goal? And a lot of times the kids, they'll say, some will say yes, and some will hesitate, and they'll listen to the other kids, and they'll tag along, and they'll say the same thing. But again, you're perusing around, you're assessing the kids, you're supporting them, and you're going in a group and you're asking the kids, and you have other coaches engaging with them as well. And a lot of the times the reason kids are hesitant is because of fear or what others will think of them. because in the process of trying to get to a point, there's always that what if I don't? What if this happens? And that's where it is very important that you as coaches believe in them. And this is where you let them know, I will be there to support you. I believe in you. We'll get you there. You're seeing where their strengths, and point their strengths out from the week before. Let them know, you know what? You were so strong at this area, and it could be something leadership. You have a great way of communicating with your team. You make them laugh. Bring that belief system in them out. Have them overcome that fear. Help them understand that you can reach this dream. You can reach this vision through the steps and the processes that we're implementing for you. The next thing to ask them is, when do you want to achieve it? When do you want to achieve this goal? And I think that's very important here is that you really break down realistically when you can. For example, we had a ninth grader come in high school, and they said from high school, and he was a freshman, so he's only 14 years old. Well, what do you want to do? I want to break the school record. When? The end of the season. Wow, that's a big mark. That record's been at your high school for 20 years. So we don't point that out specifically, but we look at the strengths and weaknesses from the week prior to say, well, why don't we look at track meet by track meet, what we can do to help you get to that point. Let's see where your first time is at the track meet, and let's look at bite-sized needle point improvement to get there. So if you listen to some of our older episodes, we talked about the Believe in Me, which was an actual movie that we talk about, and that's a great one for you to see, but also needle point improvement to really break that on a realistic assessment of when they can get there. The last thing is how. How do you see yourself achieving this? And a lot of times they'll say practice. Okay, practice. Now, that is where you get them on the hook when they say practice. And through the how process and saying, let's say practice, or they'll say, well, I need to work on these certain things. Now we can start implementing the goal setting process, which will be in two of this episode here that you'll listen to, Goal Setting Series 2. If you go to our podcast, it's listed there. So again, let's go over this. The first thing you want to do in the setting keys is the vision. All of this is on paper. First of all, you have them write down what is their vision. Then you follow up with their why. And why do they believe, or do they believe they can do this? When they see themselves doing it, and how. Again, this is on our website. Feel free to download. It's in a document form in Word where you can download it. You can print it out. You can use it for your team. It's worked. Actually, I'll give you a testimony that just happened and also motivated me to bring this up to everyone here. There was a young man. He's a freshman in college right now, basketball player to work with last year. And when I first met with him, he had no idea of what he needed to do. All he really pointed out to us was that I want to get stronger. Okay. And what we done was we broke down these steps. And he texted me the other day and he said, Coach, guess what? He let me know I hit the goals this year and I'll be home. Actually, no, he's not be home. He is home because we were texting back and forth. And what he indicated to me was that he met all of his marks as a freshman. He started as a freshman on a college basketball team, which was a goal he had. And we looked at breaking down the goals to get there on what he needed to do, all the way to his nutritional program, because he needed to put on more strength conditioning. There was a lot of things that he needed to do. And the other thing that was very important was him, as I really had to implement this, was writing this down and seeing this every single day, put this on the wall. So if you're not hitting those marks, you know why. Did you do this? Did you follow these steps that we set up in the goals? And I asked him at the end of the texting back and forth, I said, well, you'll be home and you're doing some training. I said, do you have your goals for next year? And it was the quickest text he replied with. Responded, he already had the steps and the goals. I said, is it committed to paper? It's already up on the board, Coach. I'm already working on that. So he's looking at a little bit more information that we could provide to help him get there, which are the actual goals, the map, because he's up the ante. Now, the important thing about all of this, it helps kids get to a point where this is not something that you just use in the sport, but this is something that you can use in life. It's something you can use in school to set a vision of a grade point average, or the vision of going for a master's program, or starting your own business. There is a business plan that is similar to this. You have to have a plan within business. So I'm excited. That's why I really wanted to bring this out to everyone. I hope the information we provided was good. So listen to our next episode. We'll get more deep into goal setting and we'll walk through the actual steps on what it's going to take to get them to these keys. Again, the vision, the why, the belief system that you have to implement into the young athlete. They have to believe the when and the how. I want everyone to have a great evening. Again, I hope this was beneficial. I look forward to the next part of this series that we'll get into goal setting. Have a great day. And if you need any additional information, please feel free to visit our website at the dyanetwork.org. That's the dyanetwork.org. On the site, you will find this form. If you can't, shoot us an email. We'll make sure that we'll get this to you. You can contact us on the site as well. I want everyone to have, again, a phenomenal evening and take care. Remember, everyone, I hope you liked that episode that I found in our archives. Now, what's really important here is that actually I didn't do too bad of a job, I thought. But what I want to do is recap what I talked about was the vision, why, and you have to believe. You have to ask them, do you believe you can achieve this? When do you want to achieve it? And again, as I indicated, is how do you see yourself achieving it? Now, this is what I really wanted everyone to listen at the end. Now, again, this was last spring, summer. And a couple of things on some of the young athletes. First, the basketball player was a sophomore in college. Well, he done even better, and he followed the goals at the visions. The visions can extend. Don't think that the vision ends. A vision is a long term. When you think of goals, I know it can get kind of complicated when you look at a vision and you look at a goal. They're part of the same. And for his vision, part of his long-term objective was to finish junior college and make it to a 4-year university, which colleges are looking at him now. He's a sophomore. He'll be ending in March his season. Actually, his team is the junior college Division II, is one of the top-ranked teams in the country right now. I know they were when I talked to him. I went to see him play roughly 2 weeks ago. They were out of the top 15, as I remember. He's averaging over 20 points a game, and in one game, 37 points. When I saw him play, he put up a quiet 22. A quiet 22. He could easily put up more. He's stronger. He's faster. He's bigger now. And all of this, as he would indicate, stems off of him putting this into an actual plan. The other athletes last year on our summer track program, my daughter was part of that too. One of our young sprinters that was in junior high, she met her mark. She made it to the Junior Olympics and ran her personal best. It was interesting with that because she was looking beyond. She was comparing herself to all of these runners that were she was trying to compete against. But I told her, you're not competing against them. You're competing against yourself. One of our marks was to make it. She had never ran a summer track program. Now think about that. She made it to the Junior Olympics. It was fun for her because in front of thousands of people, we got a picture of her up on the board at Drake University. And here she is. She ran her personal best. And we're working on her goals right now for this upcoming outdoor season as we're working on indoor, some things to develop there. Now, my daughter also ran last summer, and she achieved her mark. She's a 300-meter hurdler, but the first time she ran the 400-meter hurdles. And by the end of outdoor season, she improved her time and ran her best 400-meter open time ever. So, see, these things work. This, as I indicated earlier, these are metrics that you can improve on. It doesn't just apply to this. Anyone that's in business, as I indicated, a business plan you have to have. It's your roadmap. It carries you forward. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As I indicated, next Monday, we'll have part 2 of this series where I get more deeper into what it takes for the plan itself. There's steps in the plan that we'll be going through that can help with the developmental process. Also, tune in Friday, all of this on our Athletes Tip of the Week. I'll have a surprise for you there on part of what it takes within the plan, in a program to help young athletes develop. Everyone, as I always close out with, give 100% in life, pursuing your dreams, and never give up. Everyone have a great week and take care.